The city of Ravenswood was a place of mystery and secrets, where the darkness seemed to seep into every crevice, and the fog was never far behind. For Detective James Black, it was just another day at the office. He was used to the murk and the shadows, used to the way the city seemed to close in on him, used to the endless parade of crimes that left the citizens of Ravenswood feeling lost and afraid. It was a Monday morning when Detective Black received the call that would change his life forever. A young woman had been found dead in the alley behind a popular bar, her body left to rot in the rain. The crime scene was a mess, and there were few clues to go on. The victim, a beautiful woman in her early 20s, had been strangled, and the only evidence at the scene was a single set of footprints leading away from the body. Detective Black knew that this was a case that would require all of his skills. He threw himself into the investigation with a determination that bordered on obsession. He scoured the alley for any trace of evidence, interviewing every witness, and reviewing every piece of evidence that came his way. As he worked, he began to uncover a series of mysterious and unsettling connections between the victim and the people around her. She had been involved in a secret society that operated in the shadows of Ravenswood, a group of people who were rumored to have supernatural powers and the ability to control the minds of others. The more he dug, the more he realized that this was not just a simple murder case. This was a case that would push the limits of his sanity and force him to confront the darkest parts of his own mind. The weeks passed, and Detective Black found himself drawn deeper and deeper into the mystery. He followed the trail of clues and began to piece together a narrative that was both frightening and unbelievable. He learned of a powerful group of individuals who used their powers to control the city, to manipulate its citizens, and to gain power and influence. And at the center of it all was the mysterious figure known only as the Invisible Man. Detective Black knew that he was getting close to the truth, but as he did, he began to feel the weight of the mystery crushing down on him. He was plagued by nightmares, haunted by the ghosts of the victims, and he was starting to question his own sanity. He felt as though he was being watched, as though the eyes of the Invisible Man were always upon him. One night, Detective Black received a package in the mail. Inside, he found a note, written in an unfamiliar hand. "Meet me in the park at midnight," it read. Detective Black knew that he had no choice but to go. He arrived at the park and was met by a shadowy figure, hidden in the darkness. The figure stepped forward, revealing himself to be the Invisible Man. "You're getting close, Detective. Too close," the Invisible Man said, his voice cold and emotionless. "You should leave this case alone, before it's too late." But Detective Black refused to back down. He was determined to solve the mystery, no matter what the cost. The confrontation ended with Detective Black lying on the ground, injured and confused. He woke up in a hospital room with no memory of what had happened. He spent the next few days piecing together the events of that night, trying to understand what had happened and why. And then, just when he thought he had it all figured out, he received another package in the mail. This time, it was a photo of the Invisible Man, taken in the park on the night of their confrontation. It was clear that he was still being watched, and that the mystery was far from over. Determined to uncover the truth, Detective Black threw himself into the investigation with even more determination. He worked tirelessly, following leads, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing evidence. And finally, after months of hard work, he discovered the shocking truth. The Invisible Man was not just one person, but a group of people, each with their own unique powers, working together to control the city of Ravenswood. Detective Black was stunned. He had never encountered anything like this before, and he wasn't sure how to proceed. But he knew that he had to act, that he had to bring the truth to light and bring the criminals to justice. So he gathered his evidence and presented it to the police chief, who was initially skeptical. But as the evidence piled up, it became clear that Detective Black was onto something. The night of the arrest was a tense one. Detective Black, along with a team of police officers, converged on the headquarters of the Invisible Man, a hidden location that had remained a secret for years. The building was guarded, but Detective Black and his team were prepared. They fought their way inside, determined to bring the criminals to justice. The fight was fierce, but in the end, the Invisible Man and his accomplices were arrested and brought to trial. The trial was a sensation, and the city of Ravenswood was shocked to learn of the truth behind the mysterious crimes that had plagued the city for so long. Detective Black was hailed as a hero, and the people of Ravenswood breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the shadow that had hung over their city had been lifted. Years passed, and Detective Black moved on to new cases and new adventures. But he never forgot the mystery of the Invisible Man and the fear and suspense that had haunted him for so long. It remained one of the greatest and most mysterious crimes of his career, a case that would always stay with him, a reminder of the darkness that lurked in the hearts of men.